John, President Obama is getting criticism from a prominent member of his own party over his handling of ISIS. Here's what Senator Dianne Feinstein said yesterday.
I think I've learned one thing about this president, and that is he's very cautious. Maybe in this instance, too cautious.
Well, this following a firestorm over the president's comment that the administration, quote, did not have a strategy yet against ISIS in Syria. So let's debate all of this with CNN political commentator Ben Ferguson and Marc Lamont Hill, also a CNN political contributor and professor at Morehouse College. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. So, Ben, when a fellow Democrat says that he's being overly cautious, is that notable?
I would say yes, but Dianne Feinstein also said a couple weeks ago, ISIS is a military, they're well trained. They have a lot of resources, they have a lot of money, and it's going to take another well-trained military to beat them, and we better pay attention to this. And I think this was her second warning, keeping the pressure on this White House of saying, you're going to have to deal with this. No one else is going to do it for you. I know you don't want to be a war president, but ISIS is a real threat. It's going to take our involvement, and I think more importantly, our leadership to beat ISIS, because if we don't lead, it's not like someone else is going to stand up here and do it. These people are doing the best they can trying to fight them, but you're dealing with genocide with many people in that part of the world.
In fact, Marc, Feinstein went on to say that she agrees with two Republican senators, McCain and Lindsey Graham, who put out a New York Times op-ed titled, "Stop Dithering," to the president. So I know that you're going to say that President Obama is deliberating, not dithering, but Feinstein's point is that we've known about ISIS for many months. What's taking so long?
Well, I think you have to develop a coherent strategy, and I think the president has done that. I think that his statement that we don't have a strategy was really problematic. I'm still baffled by that statement.
I take him at his word on that one.
So what's the coherent strategy then?
Well, we're watching it. We saw in Amelie last night. We saw in with the airstrikes over the last few days. We see a coherent strategy. What we don't want to see is U.S. troops and U.S. boots on the ground because, number one, we're a war-weary country, but more importantly, strategically, that doesn't make a lot of sense. We need the entire region in Iraq to fight ISIS. Otherwise, it becomes a Christian Shia alliance against Sunni, which only foments more sectarian violence, more terrorism, and three more heads will pop out to cut ISIS off.
Here's my issue with that is there's political theory and there's reality. And the reality is ISIS is going to have to be dealt with. And if you don't start to deal with it, and I think a lot of this comes down to theory. It's like, well, I don't want to be a war president. I don't really want to get involved. I don't want to be there. I want others to stand up.
But
well,
Marc's
he's been saying that, but in a very limited way. And my issue is this.
It's not limited at all.
But it is limited. You have. Well, first of all, we're saying you're already putting it in this box of I don't want troops on the ground. I think that's what Obama doesn't want.
No, I don't want U.S. troops on the ground. I'm fine with arming the Peshmerga forces in Kurdistan, which we're beginning to do. I don't mind seeing these unlikely bedfellows with Iran on the border. I don't mind seeing what we see with Bashar al-Assad in Syria.
I still think
those
part
are
of it
real
is
militarized troops. They're just not U.S. troops.
But I think part of it is I think Obama believes if I don't dignify them, if I use things like calling them junior varsity or JV, if I say things like I don't have a strategy with ISIS, somehow somebody else in the world is going to stand up to them because they'll think, well, maybe America really isn't going to take the lead. And unfortunately, it's a bad situation to put us in because no one else is going to have the capability to do it.
Just curious, what are you basing that on?
Well, look at David Cameron. I'll look at what he's saying. At least he's being blunt and calling them what they are, which is terrorists. He's saying they're JV and I don't have a strategy.
But that's not what I'm asking. First of all, the entire West underestimated ISIS.
I disagree with that. I don't think ISIS was underestimated. I think Obama underestimated ISIS.
No, that's absolutely untrue. David Cameron underestimated ISIS, François Hollande, Angela Merkel. I mean, the entire West underestimated them. We underestimated how much money they had. We underestimated how much military reach they had. We underestimated the relationship between them and the Saudis. Everyone underestimated them. And that's not an excuse, but I'm saying it's not like Obama's sitting around waiting for someone else to do it. This isn't like
I think he absolutely is. And I think
he's putting together a regional alliance.
I think Obama has intelligence that everyone else that's watching from the outside doesn't have. He's been briefed on this now for almost 2 years on ISIS. He's been briefed on their money. He's seen the videos that we haven't seen.
They didn't have the money then, Ben.
They did start to have money. As soon as they went into Syria, they started to have money.
But when they overtook Mosul, they came out with almost $800 million. I mean, that was in the last 2 months. The bulk of their cash on hand came in the last few months. They were not JV per se, but they were a very small group, much less powerful than they are right now. And they still don't have the resources to win in the North or the South. I mean, they are dangerous. We need to worry about them. But let's not overstate their danger.
I have a lot more questions, but you guys have asked each other such effective questions that I'm just going to leave it right there. Ben Ferguson, Marc Lamont Hill, great to see you guys. Thanks so much for the debate.
Happy Labor Day.
Thanks, you.